Hello and a very warm welcome. In today's video we're going to talk George Russell. The male model from King's Lynn has been my driver of the season in 2022. People are probably screaming at their phones, laptops and iPads saying, what's this guy on about? It's got to be Max. Probably. But I'm going driver of the season in 2022 has been George. It's not really a surprise what Max is doing. He's expected to do that, really. He's been outstanding. But yeah, my driver of the season is George Russell. He's not been given the credit for his accomplishments this season. Now, I've covered a video on that. Mercedes and the media not giving him enough plaudits. But yeah, for me, he's been the driver of the season. There's a couple of standouts. 22 has been a disappointing season. We were expecting a big fight. It's not happened. Max is dominating. He's been sensational. George has been sensational. Esteban Ocon, but no one gives him credit because it's Alonso, and for some reason you can't criticise Alonso, even though Ocon's ahead of him, and Lando Norris. But we're focused on George Russell. He's been my driver of the season in 2022. Brand new team, finally given the promotion to Mercedes, and he's grasped it with both hands. He absolutely battered Hamilton first 5 rounds, and people saying, oh, Hamilton was running a different car. Don't buy it, me. Bullshit. George deserves the credit, and I like George Russell. He is the next UK champion. Forget Lando Norris, focus on George. George is the man. I've been crying, I've been saying drop Valtteri, put in George. They were messing around. They finally putting him in, and what is he doing? He's beating a 7-time world champion. Yeah, he's 30 points ahead, he's 7 podiums, he's so consistent. All he needs now is that first win. Lewis has done better in qualifying, but points are on a Sunday, and George, he's just been so consistent. And he's actually surprised me. I knew he was good, but to be beating Lewis Hamilton, you got to hold your hands up and say fair play. Now, most Lewis fans would sit here and make bullshit excuses of why George is ahead, but I'm not doing that. I'm giving him the credit he deserves. Now we jump into the drivers. I said 30 points, didn't I? It's a bit more than that. It's actually 35. Yeah, I thought it was 30. It's actually not. It's 35. George, I mean, he's my driver of the season. 7 podiums. He's 35 ahead of Lewis Hamilton. He's 4th in the drivers. He's only 16 off being 2nd in the drivers. It's absolutely sensational. And it's actually embarrassing for the likes of Charles, Sergio and Carlos that George is even in the mix to finish 2nd in the drivers. I mean, that's humiliation for them 3. Because the Mercedes is not a good car this season. It is not a good car. Anyone who's saying it's a good car, they've not been watching the season. It's nowhere near the level of performance of a Red Bull or Ferrari. So that is impressive to be 4th in the drivers. And there's a high chance Mercedes could get 2nd in the constructors. I've been massively impressed with Russell. He will be a world champion, and I would love to see him have the machinery to take on Max. Lewis is still a top quality driver, but let's be real, he is coming to the end, and Russell is the future. Yeah, I would absolutely love Russell and Max. He's just perfect as George Russell. He's consistent. Yeah, he's just fantastic with the media. He's a bit of a, male model. A lot of female support. He's just the perfect. The only negative I have about George is he's a PR puppet. But then again, you can't really blame him because he's got to do what Mercedes tell him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have the Mercedes drive. I tell you what, if he beats Lewis over a season, wow. He's an exceptional driver. My driver of the season so far. Yeah. He's just I mean, I knew he was good, but he surprised me. To be beating Lewis is impressive. Very impressive. He's come in. It's not really a new team because he's always been in the Mercedes program. He's done everything he needed to do. GP3, GP2, Williams, battered Latifi, Kubica. Finally got the promotion, and now he's delivering. The only thing he needs now is a win. That win is eluding him. He should have won that time Lewis was out with COVID. And that was a very dodgy scenario. He absolutely showed up Valtteri Bottas, and then all of a sudden they mixed the tyres up. When has anyone ever mixed tyres up? So, yeah, and then he had a puncture. A bit dodgy if you ask me. But, yeah. Comment down below your driver of the season. Mine's George Russell. He's been absolutely sensational. Consistent, performing, outperforming the world champion of Lewis's calibre. And they'll be making them excuses that the cars were different. It's nonsense. Praise George Russell. Comment down below your thoughts on George and who do you think's been driver of the season. It's definitely between Max and George, but Norris and Ocon deserve a shout out. Are we stopping?